Mic check 1, 2. Okay. I think we're almost there. Lift me up, make me feel like I'm the only one that you love. Hey, hi everybody. How are we doing? You almost got me hacked through the attorney Discord How'd I always get you hacked? How are you guys doing? I'm in my right now this is my what's it called? This is like my version of Lucky Guy's maid costume. So today I have been doing nothing but deep cleaning, laundry. We got some cooking done, still doing laundry. Vacuuming, clean the bathroom, the living room. So today's been a big self-care day, ladies and gentlemen. I only get one day off. I have to work 10 out of the 11 days in the clinic, so today was my only day. Got my hair cut, made myself look handsome. I see you, chat. Hold on 1 second. Okay, there we go. So, Serenity, Shiny, Ivy-licious, Funky Cats, hello Lily Love, Shine, Newalon, Saw Bathroom, Mars, Lynn, Jenna, Funky, that Funky, Comadina, Moo Woo. Well, I like that. I like that. Moo Woo. Could make a rap song out of that. What up, Betty? Vio, Funky. How are we all doing? Serenity, Bon, Bot. Hope that you all are doing well. So, yeah, so we have the official Discord that is now up. Make sure that you all are taking a look at that. Those are going to be mandatory. So we have right now we have over 130 applications, and some of those are full teams. We're not talking 130 players. We have so many teams. I don't even we're gonna have to figure this out, but it keeps going for another 6 days, the application. If you don't have a team, you can go on our Discord, you can find the team. If you've already submitted an application, you'd like to make adjustments, you can go there. Tarashak and Paulblums is gonna be there. This very well may be one of the biggest tournaments in all of Identity 5 history. I'm not talking NAEU, I'm talking about the whole damn history of every server combined, depending on how many teams we get. So I can't even keep track. I think we might be literally up to maybe 35, 40 teams. So we'll have to figure it out. We might have to make some adjustments in terms of we might have to make this a 2 weekend event. It might be of interest for you guys to make sure that you have at least 6 members in case somebody can't show up. What's going on, Rarity? How are you? I see you. So everyone's having issues with the verification process. Yeah, what's going on, Remus? How are you? I think that you all should join anyways. We're gonna need backups too. So one of the things that we're trying to do. So persuadable king, are you Italian? Yeah, I'm half Italian, half Swedish. Well, I'm American, but my great grandparents come from Sweden and Sicily. So one of the things we're trying to do is have as many backup options. So if you guys don't remember, and I mean this as respectful as possible to NetEase, of course, because I'm not big into just criticizing them for no reason. However, NetEase and I have always had a very respectful, professional relationship. They've never tried to suppress what I can and can't say. However, I've always tried to be respectful with my analysis and my commentary regarding NetEase. And a long time ago, they tried to have a big NAEU tournament. This may have been 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember when it was. It may have been a summer tournament, and they wanted there to be like 24 or 36 teams, or even 48. I can't remember. They tried to have a massive tournament, and what NetEase has traditionally done is they hire an outside company to run and organize all of that stuff. And so when they ran that tournament, all they really did is promote it on their Facebook and maybe Twitter at the time. I don't know, but they were still a young game. And the tournament was kind of a disaster. Like, I think only 1/4 of the teams actually showed up, and it did not go well. And it went so bad that I remember NetEase talking about maybe removing Koa because it was that bad. And so we really like advocated for the server around that time, especially the high tiers. And I remember talking with them as well and being like, you can't blame the server. That that's not how that works. That's an organizational thing. So we ended up running a tournament ourselves, and we had like 12 or 16 teams, and it went perfectly fine. Literally everything was perfectly fine. So we try to have backup options and safety net. So for instance, like having this Discord that we're going to set up, if we have, like, let's say 40 teams, after the 16th, when applications are no longer accepted, we will have backup applications. And that essentially means is that in the first round, if people don't show up, you'll be emergency allocated to that team. And it only will occur in the first round. And that will prevent your team from a forfeit. However, the person who doesn't show up, for example, isn't going to be able to play for the rest of the tournament. So it is a pro and con to it. So we have a whole bunch of backup emergency options to do our best to make sure that we can try to alleviate forfeitures. However, we do expect things like that to happen. I mean, this is a massive tournament. People are going to have nerves and whatnot, even though the shoutcasters, that's our job to make you feel comfortable, make sure your game style is respected. We're going to make sure that we have active moderation going on at all times. So if people are going to be jackwagons and whatnot, we're not going to tolerate that. I'm a grown man. I ain't got time to be arguing with people online. So, so that stuff, historically, we have always done a good job. And NetEase did a great job at understanding our concerns back in the day. And they were like, all right, like, we'll keep going with the tournaments. And they've had tournaments ever since. And now we're starting to have even more NAEU tournaments and representation. So I applaud them for that. So with that being said, historically, these tournaments that are ran by our team go very smooth. They don't always look the best in terms of graphics, so we might try to work on that as well, see if we can get some transition and graphics going. But I encourage you all to go to the Discord, and I really strongly recommend you do everything in your power to avoid making yourself be allocated by us to a random team. Because when you have people that you can play with, you can at least control for how many players are on your team. You can have backup options in case people don't come. If you're just kind of entering solo, we'll do the best that we can. But if people don't show up, they don't show up, right? So one of the things that we need to figure out is how many people are going to be allocated to these random teams who can't find their own teammates. So the Discord that we just released should help you be able to further navigate and find people. So if you've already submitted your application, you don't have to worry. If you find a team or make adjustments, just let Paul and Tara know, and we'll get that going. It's going to be traditional core rules for the most part, the ban system. Right now, so one of the questions that I see is who's going to be the commentators. First of all, thank you for the gift over there. I appreciate that. The commentators, it's going to depend on how many teams we have, because originally, I swear to God, I thought we were gonna have like 12 teams. I thought maybe we'd have 8 teams. So the fact that this is just blowing up should show NetEase how hungry a lot. Our server may be a little bit smaller, but if you organize things right and promote it, the server's hungry, and I think that this is going to represent the server very well in terms of showing how eager we can be if things are properly advertised, organized the proper way. So the commentators, because we have so many teams lined up, Thank you very much for the follow. Also, Zeus Identity 5. Thank you for the $2 donate. Put on the wig. I'll put on the wig. Hold on. Give me a second. I'm going to answer that question about the commentators. I didn't forget. Hold on. Oh. There you go, Zeus. See, Zeus? You see what just happened there, Zeus? You gave me $2 and you said put on the wig, and then I put on the wig. And what you should learn from that is that when you tell your fan base that you're going to do a Naiad cosplay and never do it, maybe you should take that $2. I'll give it back to you so you can buy that $25 cosplay of Naiad and deliver for your audience. Boom! Roasted! Roasted Zeus! Bada bing and that bada boos. I got Schmitty hair in my mouth. No, don't clip that. That was bad. I shouldn't have said that. That fucked me up. Yep, I take the L. I'm done. I'm just kidding, by the way, Zeus. I'm just kidding. You know I love you, buddy. Adam Cream. It's your worst nightmare, number 6. What's going on, Adam Cream? How are you? Thank you so much for the super chat. That's super kind of you. So, what's going on, Hikaru? How are you? Hikaru, yeah, you know what, actually, so we're talking about the commentators. I think Hikaru wanted to do some commentary. I wasn't sure if Hikaru was gonna be a competitor or not. So I'm trying to catch up there. I don't even have any way to be in contact with people. Like, I'm on my own little island. I gotta like put my Discord out there or something so people can get in touch with me. Because people will be like, how do I get a hold of Persuade for like content creation and collaborations? Even if you're a small content creator, I don't really care how many subs you have. So we gotta do that. We gotta put that on the to-do list. But anyways, all right, I'm ranting too much. We have so many teams lined up that originally we just thought that it was going to be Eli and I, because I've never had the opportunity to, shoutcast with Eli. And my role as a shoutcaster in this tournament is to learn. So I'm going to be asking very stupid questions like, why is the hunter going there? Why? Because I want to learn everything. So I'm pretty much going to be the Gaming Grizzly of back in the day. But because there's so many teams, and we might have to do this as a 2-weekend event, that we might have to have additional commentators. So who knows, if Hikaru wants to join us, by all means. To all means. Let's do it. So, with that being said, the other thing that we're going to consider, obviously, is time. So, one of the things, too, is that we're not going to really know the full schedule until probably once we have all the teams. And then there's a few things that we can do to help the teams out. So if we have too many teams, then we can have a 1 weekend event. And then say for example, we're at like 40 teams. I'm just making something up. And say if after streaming for 2 days, we're only down to like 24. Well, what we can do is we can hold the finals to get that down to 12 throughout the week and tell each team to decide on a time. And then we'll have an official referee there so we can record it. So people aren't forfeited if for some reason they can't make it at a certain time or whatever the case is. So, but one of the things like I said, we got to be a little flexible here, but I strongly urge teams to make sure you guys have backups. So, what's going on, Saf? How you doing? I see you all over there. I see you. What's going on, Anonymous Assassin? I remember you. How's it hanging, Gramps? Gramps is doing well. He's doing well. Today's a self-care day. TJ Legends, how you doing, buddy? How you guys all doing? And then I'm coming out with another YouTube channel. That's just going to be for an Identity 5 YouTube channel. I'm going to have 1 hour episodes at least 5 days a week. And it's going to be watching the highest tier gameplay of all, like one hunter a day. So I already have, I'm almost done with like 16 of them. That's why I've been off stream. So I'm preparing for everything. And then the Persuadable channel, like I said, I'll do Identity 5 once or twice a week on that. But that's going to include like animated music videos every Monday. That's going to include Roblox videos. So, but we are gonna have just an Identity 5 YouTube channel, and it's gonna have the top of the top gameplay of all of the hunters, so people can learn how to play them. Yo, what's going on, Yatska? How are you? Yo, Yatska, I was watching you for like an hour today. I thought that your panda cosplay was amazing. I thought you did a fantastic job. I was watching when you did the close-up. When you did the close-up, and then your cosplays are amazing. As you can see, I'm a low effort sort of guy. So, yeah. I'm like, don't compliment me. Stop it. I'm so stupid. Anyways, I was watching you for an hour. I didn't say anything in your chat though, because I was nervous. You know what I'm saying? You know, being in front, seeing such a wonderful person, it's just intimidating trying to talk to them. That's why nobody has a problem talking to me on my live feeds. They're like, all right, this guy's a fucking jackwagon, right? But with Yaska, man, you gotta bring your A game. I feel like I'm watching a celebrity. I get nervous. My palms are sweaty. Anyways, your cosplay was fantastic today. Good job. And I think you said you're gonna do another Alice stream. I'll be there. I'll be watching. You like this? This is my shit. This is my. I almost said shitty. This is my Schmitty cosplay. All I need to do now is buy stilts. Is that the word? If I buy stilts, then I'll be very tall. Because the 3-inch boosters that I have for weddings still isn't tall enough. Because the kid is like a big ent from Lord of the Rings. He's like 6'6" and he towers over people. All right, so, oh yeah, that's right. Schmitty's going to be competing. That's right. You know what? RVL's going to be playing with Z, right? Right, I think he's going to play with Z. So that should be very, very interesting. Yo, I'm telling you, all the content creators, you all need to make a team. Make a team. Let's get going. Let's get going. You all, the community loves you all. You've all have kept this community alive for years. Community wants to see you all compete. Who cares how good you play? Who cares how far your team comes? Just go out there. It's free promotion, if anything, because all of the content creators, no matter how big you are, small you are, I'm gonna be doing an interview with almost every team to learn about your team. So like when like that's the level of energy that we're bringing to this tournament. So every single team, I'm going to try to get in voice chat and do like an interview with them. So when we're doing the live feeds and Eli is possibly talking about more of the skill stuff, I'm going to be like, yo, like I talked to this magician player. He came in here all fire. You know what I'm saying? And like learning more about the teams. And so for those who have YouTube and Twitch and TikTok, you know, it's the perfect opportunity to get free promotion out of it. You know, that's really important in the community, is helping one another. Even if you just run a fan page or you like to give your hot takes, or I don't care, you know, everybody deserves attention, you know. I think that's important, especially because I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I would never want to be everybody's cup of tea. That's why nobody has to be a subscriber of mine or a fan of mine or a supporter. Nothing. There's no parameters on that. You don't have to, you know, like a video or any of that garbage. There's nothing on that. I don't like doing. I wouldn't mind doing that stuff if it's like a giveaway or something, but not like a community big ass tournament like that. So the good thing about historically promoting other content creators is that if somebody doesn't like your style, they got somebody else to go to and watch and relate with, you know. Like everybody's got their own style, and so we saw that with Cats, we saw that with Schmitty, we saw that with Call Me Duty, we see that with Paul Blums, we see that with Hikaru, we see that with everybody's own style, and so it's important that we get another wave going, you know, another wave. The more content, the better. Really, that's just the reality of things. Persuadable, do you know Z's, Fob, Z's? I'm bad at pronouncing names. I'm not trying to be ignorant. I fucking promise you. So I say Z because it's hard for me to say his name. And I've never spoken with Z other than, I think I posted a screenshot of what he posted on YouTube. And he seems like a very loving person. And I think that the community benefits from him for sure. So, you know, I feel like my style is a little different. I'm more of a loose cannon. You don't know what version you're gonna. One minute we're talking about depression, research, science. Don't get me started on fluoride water because it's safe, and I'm gonna come out with a video on that because no offense to RFK Jr., but the dude's well off base. Every research article that he tried to post is completely ridiculous. Anyways. So you don't know if you get that or if you get me screaming about Faramane. So every time I go on live feed, it's like, oh shit, which version are we getting of Persuade? Are we getting the deep, meaningful one? Are we getting the crazy, obnoxious one? Are we getting the salty one? So it's like I got different and for some people they can't. That's too much. So having people who have their own methods, their own style, it's just like a perfect mix of ingredients for content creation on a game. And we got to get the next wave going. You know what I mean? Like, where's the person who's got 200 followers right now that deserves to be the next 100K or 30K, right? Like, where are they? They're out there. They just need a little bit of help. And that's what we're going to do. So get on there, get into the competition. Don't worry about being a god. Don't worry about being good. And I'll ask your team too. I'm gonna ask your team, are you primarily focused on like meme having fun, or are you trying to be like very competitive? And so this is the stuff that's gonna be articulated during the match. You know, like Blue Race Cars team, they might go with meme characters. We don't know. Like they're still gonna try to win. They're not gonna throw. They're not gonna play purposely bad. Call Me Duty right now, one of the best hunters, if not one of the best hunters in the history of this game. Last that I talked to him, he's still trying to find a team. He's a free agent. That's a top hunter. And I was like, so what are you trying to do? And he's like, yo, I just want to go full meme hunters. I go, what do you mean? He's like, I want to go out there with like Hell Ember, or I want to go out there with like one of these other hunters out there. He's like, I don't want to play the meta. And it's like, well, find a team. Find a team that's really gonna try to win, but wants to have fun with it. So you're gonna be protected. Not everybody is joining this tournament to play meta. People want to go out there. You might have somebody who is like I don't know, like a Lucky Guy main, and their main priority is showing how Lucky Guy can be very versatile, you know. And if you go out there and get your ass kicked, don't worry about it. That's gonna be my job. Be like, you know, in all fairness, Lucky Guy, he ain't the meta right now. This is somebody who said, I really want to show what I can do. I want to challenge my character in a competitive scene. My team's okay with that. I'm okay with it. And we're going to have good matches and bad. And right now, hunters are just playing good, right? We got you. Don't worry about playing bad. People ain't going to laugh at you. And if they are, they can go fuck themselves. Go fuck themselves. They can deal with me. God, you know how petty I can be. I ain't got time for that. A 34-year-old man with a wig. There we go. Yeah, I want to see a tournament, Mad Eyes. Yo, actually, so that's the other thing is that I'm gonna start seeing if we can get some sponsorships going. So, you know, the problem is that we historically have never had a tournament this size. But if we can get a tournament this size, having some sponsorships makes it easier to have more of these tournaments, more cash prizes. We can even have hidden achievements one day where you pick like three things that nobody knows about, you know, and it's all secret. And one of it could be like which hunter downs the enemy team the fastest, or which survivor actively kites the longest, or you know, which survivor picks like Mad Eyes, or and no one will know. So there's so much potential that we can do in the future, and we're probably gonna update the prize pool to top 8 teams, instead of the top 5. So the top 8 teams will win like 125 each. So how you guys allocate that? We have to figure out how I'm gonna do that because I would probably rather send the money individually instead of giving it to your team captain, especially if you're on a random team. And at any point in time, somebody can just take that and bounce. So Well, that's gonna be a pain in the ass doing that, but I'll probably just do a one by one and figure that all out. So ask your team, how do you want it allocated, things like that. Not the Schmitty cosplay. My confidence depleted when I play Hunter. That's why I'm like shaking to find a meme team in Asia. Yo, let me tell you something. I was playing Hunter the other night, and there were some Pharaoh mains that were pissing me off, man. They were playing so good, and I was so fucking mad. I was so mad. I was like, man, why am I doing this to myself? Not genuine. I wasn't actually mad, but I was like, what the? I was definitely saying some shit in my head, not in post chat. I tried not doing that. I was saying things. I was like, I hope you fucking stub your toe. Oh man. I love watching Mad Eye's matches. Friends of mine used to be top 10 for him a while ago, and watching him play was so fun. So yeah, so right now I think I have about 45 minutes of top gameplay from him. Let me see. That's why I'm coming out with just the Identity 5 Persuadable channel. Um, how much footage do I have? Oh, actually no, Mad Eyes is already done. I got 55 minutes of footage. So like I said, I'm trying to do an hour a day. And it's not going to be that hard because I already do this sort of research. So all I'm doing is recording it. The only thing I was thinking about doing is playing the footage online. So like maybe go on rank mode in Identity 5 and then, or even if I don't after rank mode, like right now, um, you put on like an hour of the top gameplay and we all watch it together. It's not me teaching you how to play, it's all of us learning together. And then obviously your comments would pop up here. We have that, and then we post that up on the Identity 5 Persuadable channel. And now people can learn how to play or counter these hunters. It's a little tough doing this with survivors because if you go and try to watch a survivor, like say if I want to learn fire investigator, but then the fire investigator's not kiting first, it can take way too long trying to find good footage. So typically I like to just do it with hunter perspectives, and then in the YouTube they'll be time stamped and you'll be able to see your favorite characters play if you want to try to see how they're kiting. Um, but yeah, we got a lot going on with that. Then with the persuadable stuff, then with the Roblox stuff. So I'm probably doing about 6 hours of work off camera. I'm just trying to get everything all nice and organized. I think I told people about a month ago that the return would be slow. It'd be a progressive thing. And that's where we're going. You guys have been super supportive though, all of you. Um, and I genuinely mean that. I'm not just saying that. So what's going on, Ty? How are you, buddy? TikTok, I think I had like 200 followers on there. I've never used TikTok. Like I got into it a little bit, but not really. And within like 2 weeks, you guys got me up to over like 2,500 people, and I haven't even been posting on that every day yet. And then on Twitter, I think I had what? I think I had like maybe 800 people or something. I think I'm over 3,000 now. So the growth has been insane. It really has been, and that's crazy because I haven't even been back full time yet. So you guys have been incredibly generous. So I appreciate all of you for that. Yesterday I had a little giveaway on my Twitter. I I uh, I said something about how I'm willing to have a forgiveness pact with the priestess mains if we can all gang up on Pharaoh mains. Obviously, when I do this, it's what we call in English a gimmick. So it means that I'm playing like the salty player. Eventually, I'm going to stop giving disclaimers because it kills the whole gimmick. Imagine being a WWE wrestler and you have to keep reminding people you're just joking. But so then I told people the top rated comment, you're gonna whatever gifts you have in game, I'll give you one. And there was actually two funny comments. There was one that was extremely funny, that didn't get the attention it deserved. So I added them, and I gotta wait 24 hours. So I gifted them both. What did I gift them? One got Gardener Ghost Girl, and that was like 2,800 echoes. And then the other one, I think they got I think I gave them that legendary Wu Chang, which is like, I think 2,800 echoes as well. So they both won that. We got a bunch of things coming. I commissioned 2 pieces of art. We got Ali Melly coming up. It's going to take about 10 to 12 days maybe. I asked a question on Twitter, what's your favorite ship? And that was one of them, by a landslide. So we commissioned professional art on that. And then I commissioned a separate piece of art, which is a surprise. So I'm excited for that to come out. That might not come out until the end of November. So, working on some of the music a little bit, you know. I purchased some stuff. When you do the music, there's not much of an echo. The music kind of stays in here. So we got some music brewing a little bit. So we got a bunch of projects coming, boo-boos, and then eventually I'll be streaming all the time, not just Identity 5. Right now it's going to be Identity 5 focused, and then eventually we're going to be doing more. So I think that's where we're at right now, chat. If you want to be a graphic person, let me know. I got to learn how to do that, because that would be cool if we could be sliding characters to have like an official like animation. Because that would make it look nice and polished. I just don't know how to do it, but I think I got to stop being lazy. We have a bunch of guest appearances coming on. Let's see. So we got so what I'm trying to do is for guest commentators, I'm trying to make it so they're not competitors, just so we can kind of keep it a little balanced. But I got to talk to Roxon, who is the official AO NAEU representative in KOA 2. He was the official first hunter ever to represent NAEU in KOA. I think it's his birthday, but he said that he should be able to drop on, and we'll give folks maybe 30-minute slots or 15-minute slots just to come in and say hi. I've reached out to Zilio Gaming, Happy Dog. I think Happy Dog's at like 100K. And then I'm looking for other content creators who may not want to participate. So maybe come on as a guest appearance, especially the old school guys. So I was trying to get Yo Mama. You guys don't know who Yo Mama is. Yo Mama was my original teammate back in the day, season 1. So seeing if he could get on the mic a
We
little
know you're
bit.
not that up to date with young people slang, but can we call you UNC?
Unc? You want to call me Unc? I'd be fucking honored if you called me Unc. Of course. I accept Unc. I accept Dad. I accept Grandpa. So whichever one you want to use, we're good. We're good. But I heard about Unc. I know, I've been looking at some of the lingo. I've been getting it. No cap. Does that phased out yet? We still using it? I remember back in the day, people kept saying cap, and I'm like, I'm not wearing a cap. What do you guys? They had to be like, no, Persuade, this is what that means. And I was like, okay. I actually put out a flashcard and I studied it. I'm not joking. Let's see. What's the other stuff we're doing? I think that's I got a Roblox game. You guys, hey, do you want to see a sneak peek of my Roblox game? Yo, I think we should do it. Let me see. There's nothing to do. It's just like a world right now. But I think y'all might like it. Hold on. How do I do this? And this is like when I have my chill streams and somebody, you know how many people are like, yo, Persuade, I just need someone to talk to. Okay. Well, then you're going to come to my world and we're going to chill in my world. And we're going to talk. Okay, I hope you all like it. So, and oops, that wasn't good for my computer. And then people over time can go to my Discord, and if you give me concept art, I'll get it added. And then we're gonna have a tight kiting competition. I'm gonna have a tight kiting arena. Super slow. You got 30 seconds to get the people and have a little comp. Oh man, this world's gonna be fun. And you all are going to help me build it, because literally your ideas, like if you submit concept art and it's like, hey, I think this would be cool. it takes a little bit of time for the devs to get it in there, but I'll get it all built. So I'll even have like a little sign with your screen name on it. You know, like Angel Girls Corner or some shit like that. I don't know. So I think that would be cool. Like I said, we got a lot of projects that we're working on. All right, so how do I can't get this all the way. I could try. Okay, anyway, sorry. All right, so we're gonna take this here. I'm gonna take my big ass head away. I'm gonna miss you guys. All right, so what I was trying to do is we were trying to make this look pretty. And so what it is that like if we have community events, we can do something like this where people can sit around by a bonfire. So that was the idea with this thing. Maybe figure something out here. And then,
Wig looking cool, persuadable.
yo, what's going on, cool man? Thank you. And then there's like hidden areas down there, right? We don't want to spoil everything. And then I got, oh yeah, there we go. I was like, where the fuck's my waterfall? There we go. So we got some here. Here we go. This is where one-on-one me and you are gonna chill. You just need somebody to talk and vent to. Papa persuade, Unc persuade, Grandpa persuade, all three of me got you. Call me breaking wheel. That was stupid. That was so dumb. I don't take it back. So, yeah, so anyways, let me go all the way up here. So we're going to add a whole bunch of other stuff to this. We're going to have big areas that gets expanded to it. So that's pretty much the world. Make it more scenery, have more little tiny things to do. I want to build a massive fort, like a massive fort that you go in. And then, like I said, we'll have like if you guys Google Tag Team Championship or whatever it is, or Tag Champions, there's a concept where in real life, there's a very tiny arena, very, very tiny arena. Think like the size of Arms Factory, like not the whole map. I mean, like literally Arms Factory, like kind of like that. And you have like 30 seconds to kite in that area. And it's a whole tight kiting thing. And then if you can tag them, you get a point. And so it's like, just because there's so much transitional and rotational kiting, it'd be nice to have like an adaptation of tight kiting. So eventually we're gonna have like mini games in here and stuff. So, but yeah, that's what we're looking at for now. I just wanted to get the alpha version in, because once it's there, then people are gonna be like, all right, like this is a serious thing, and then people will feel more likely to submit their concept art and stuff, and then we can build a nice big world. And I wanted it to start off with like a campground, you know what I mean? And then over time, as we build it, we turn it kind of like a what's it called? What's that game called? Where you start off with like tents and then you build up, like Age of Empires or something. What's that game called? That'd be cool. So you start off like this, and then over time, like you go into different sections, and then eventually you get into like a futuristic. So that's kind of like what I want to do with this, and we build it up for years. So I think that would be pretty cool. So, but anyways, all right, chat. I think that's everything for now. What's going on, Mira? How are you? You like the perm? Diet. So that's what we're doing. Make sure you all join the Discord. If you're joining the tournament, you have to be there. It also makes sure that everybody is in one chat, so there's things that we can control for with that. And Cool Man, by the way, thank you again for the 100 bits. I appreciate you. So I'm doing good, little boy Betty. How are you doing? The only thing, am I, am I on Twitter right now? Because I ain't getting the Twitter feed. Are there people writing on the Twitter? Because it's going to make me feel bad because I haven't been. Oh, yeah, for the graphic side, what kind of ideas that you wanted? Maybe we graphic kiddos can do like a concept and then show it to you. So the idea that we were looking for is like something that we can actually get. Um, Hold on one second. Okay. Well, so for the graphics, what we were thinking about is getting it where we make it look more official with the character selection. So as it's happening, we're sliding things in and out, making it look
Just thought
really
I'd say
nice
hi
and
UNC
polished.
Persway Sway. Have a nice stream.
Yo, cool man. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, bud. I really do. Thank you so much for dropping by. You can see me on Twitter. Yeah, I see myself as well. Okay, we're good. We're good. I'm just making sure. I'm trying to get everything all, like I said, nice and organized. So we're doing okay. I think you should also get a different platform in case Twitter gets shut down after they change blocking users or something. Yeah, so one of the things that I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be making sure that all of our stuff is on every platform. So I'll eventually be doing TikTok every day, Instagram every day. We'll be on Facebook a little bit. I'm still considering Kick. I know there's some like controversy with that platform and stuff, so I got to look more into that. Just because, yeah. At the same time, what I've learned about some of these platforms though is that if you have everything in one platform and then something erroneously happens, like historically with YouTube, people could take your stuff down and then cause a nightmare for 3 months. Thankfully, they patched a lot of that up. One of the things that I really don't like doing is investing in just one platform. Having it pretty expansive and versatile is very important in case something ever happens. So that's what I'm thinking. And honestly, I should be. Yo, what's going on? I see you over there, Aikako. How are you? I see you on Facebook. Hello. What I should be playing more, but man, I'm really focused on making sure I have all the videos set up for the next. You know what? Hey, if any of you graphic folks, if you want to make me, it's gonna be called Identity 5 Persuadable. That's gonna be the YouTube channel. And it's only going to be a YouTube channel. I'm not trying to do like a double Twitter, double, none of that crap. That's way too much. But if you want to make graphics for it, I'll definitely use it. If you want to, it's up to you. So, but it's only going to be Identity 5 theme. Like I said, Persuadable will have hopefully up to 5 to 7 videos eventually. So it sounds like it's a lot, but this is what I already do. I already have all of the footage. I look at professional footage every single day. Now it's just about recording it and showing everybody what I'm seeing. Because there is a lot of people who want to play different types of hunters and there's top hunters in all of Asia who are using them, top hell embers, top spiders, things like that. And so I think being exposed to 1 hour of gameplay really gives you a little bit more of a sample size rather than just going match by match. So, and then sometimes we'll have some commentary on it. Sometimes it'll be just the matches. We'll figure that aspect of things out. For the concept art for the Roblox server, where can you submit? I want to practice more environmental stuff, so I may whip something up. Yeah, so the Discord, we're gonna be adding some things on the Discord. So with the Discord, my Discord, we're going to have a section where if you see like cool Identity 5 clips and you want my reaction to it, you can submit them there, whether they're your clips or whether they're just something popular on social media. However, if you use somebody else's clip, um, you got to give me the direct source with that. So if I decide to do a reaction video, I can, properly credit that person. Um, whether it's a super cool trick or whatever, that helps me with content too. So anything funny, awesome. And then there's also going to be the Roblox aspect of things that will come up with Roblox concept art. And so we're going to make sure we control for that as well, which will be a good thing. Right now, my Discord's having issue with the questions for persuade section, people for some reason can't always see my responses. So I always tell people, if you have any questions for me, that's the place to go, because I'm on Discord now 7 days a week, and there's plenty of times where I'm actually playing with people on my Discord and not on live feed, in case I need like a lo-fi night where I don't feel like being in front of a camera. So definitely be part of the Discord. Yeah, and I also, with the Twitch stuff, so with the Twitch, I was playing around with some of the rewards. I got to fix some of those up. Maybe ask the community what kind of rewards would be interesting with the troll bombs as you guys all acquire them. So one of them was going to be, you can pick by character, even if we're in the middle of a ranked match. You can pick my survivor for me. You know, like fun shit like that, where I think that stuff is always fun. So I was working on that a little bit, but like I said, I got my hands dipped in a little bit of too many baskets, so we got to make sure that we're doing one thing at a time. And right now, all of our attention is on the tournament. Force you to become a pharaoh lady. That's diabolical. I love it. You know what's funny is that so the community never picked up on it, but when I was shit talking priestess back in the day, I think people didn't realize that all of the top priestess mains were my friends. So Pharaoh lady, some of the top Pharaoh ladies historically are still current, like My Leg, John Zhao. So I think that people don't always get that when I'm starting to shit, and it's like, wait a minute, all right, like who's the low key going after? Oh man. If I ever have a real concern about a character, though, we'll have those conversations and stuff. I don't know enough about Pharaoh, so I was just being a child. Ban action can be one like no rescue, etc., etc. Oh, I like that idea. That's good. That's solid. Unk Wildling. Oh my God, you haven't aged a day. You seem like you're in a good spot. Hope all is well. What's going on, Hussy Tings? What's going on? Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. This is the best version of myself, honestly. I haven't felt this good since probably 25, right before I hit grad school. Yeah, so we're doing good. The whole Identity 5 thing, I was doing that while I was studying for my boards. I do this thing, so I have ADHD. Obviously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And what's always worked for me, this is getting back to Identity 5. And I do it today too. So today all I did was my self-care. So I've done laundry, deep cleaning. I vacuumed my floor. I'm doing my bed in right now. I did the dishes. I took a shower. I did my manscaping. It's important. So I'm a hairy guy. So it takes a little bit of effort and time. All of that stuff. So I've been busy all day. What I've learned though is that when I work for 20 minutes, I need a 5-minute break. Or sometimes I'll work for 15 minutes, I need a 5-minute break. I'm not talking about my real life job with my patients. I'm talking about with my self-care, taking care of the house, making sure I'm clean, making sure like nobody taught me how to take care of my feet. All the men in my family, we have nasty ass feet. No one, because we grew up in the country aspect of Rhode Island. So like historically, like my feet would be beat up, like fucking dead skin, like ugh. And so like now at 34, I take care of that. I make sure I have no broken skin. I make sure my toenails are cut. Like things like that, nobody taught me as a man. You go on YouTube and you see everybody trying to be like Wolverine and all jacked and trying to talk about all this alpha male bullshit. But like nobody told me, yo, like moisturize, take care of your skin, take care of your feet, make sure you're like nobody taught me that, right? So what I do throughout the day, usually it's on Sundays, is when I'm doing my stuff, I take a 5-minute break. So I only downloaded Identity 5 when it came out because I would study for like 20 minutes and then I'm like, all right, I need like a quick break. And DBD was way too long. So I'd be able to play. And I would study like 12 to 16 hours a day. But I broke it up because I'm studying for my clinical board. So I would break it up and it sounds like a lot, but then you can have like a 2-hour rank session and take a break from studying. because when you're studying for your boards after 8, 7 years, whatever you're in school for, that's your job. So then you become a top player. Then I'm on Discord. Then I'm studying for my boards. And then on top of that, now I'm like a YouTube content creator. Never fucking watched a YouTuber in my whole life. Never. Not a single time. Never did the Vine. Never, none of that stuff. So now I'm learning that stuff. And then I become a traveler. So now I'm going to Arizona, and now I'm learning how to actually do my job in the clinic. You know, my job is the difference between whether your mother or father or grandmother or grandfather ever get home or not. And you have no idea how much time and attention that takes, because people will be like, "Oh, they can't go home," and I'm like, "No, we don't know that yet." And then trying to learn Koa and being a shoutcaster, and then COVID happened, and it was just way, way, way too much, man. I was not adjusting well. I was trying to play too many roles, so that's why I ultimately, stepped away. We've talked about this a million times now, and I was so happy these past, what, 2 years. I tried to come back 3 years ago. It didn't really work out. But these past like 2.5 years have been some of the best years of my life. I've done so much traveling. I was able to get back on my ADHD medication, talk to my doctor, because I'm like, man, I'm losing my shit. So that's why I posted on Twitter the other night the importance of going out there and getting help when you need it. Sometimes we just need a little bit of if your fucking car needs a tune-up, then I'm pretty sure it's okay for you to get one too. So these past 2 years, I got into the gym. I lost a lot of weight. I've been taking care of myself. And so I have a routine now of making sure that I do the things that I need to do in order to stay healthy. Sitting there and talking about my feelings and emotions doesn't really do much for me because I feel like I have pretty good insight and judgment. I think more so of making sure that I work on my schedule, work on my routine. Like for instance, like going to the gym, right? I have to pack my shit before I leave for work. So when I'm done with work, I immediately go to the gym. I don't come back home. If I come back home, gym ain't gonna happen. So learning that routine, and then immediately after the gym, I come home and take a shower. Immediately. Take a shower, you get the gym stuff off, focus on the hygiene, shave where you need to shave, moisturize the feet, then take care of yourself, and then you can have your fun with, the identity five, the content creation. So like for me, that what helped, the medication obviously helped, but the big thing was establishing a routine. Um, the reason why I did so well in college is because I actually never did work in my house ever, because this is where OTs really specialize in the idea of how our environment can shape our personality. So I never ever could do work at the house. Just can't. Doesn't matter. Doesn't just never worked for me. Tried every strategy. So like in grad school or even in undergrad, I'd leave my house by 7 in the morning, and then I wouldn't come back until 7 or 8 at night, and I would just sit in the library all day, all day. And then I would do like again 20 minutes of work, and then I'd like go on a video game, play for like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, maybe go for a quick walk, back to studying. And so for me, the environmental context can shape when I'm getting my work done, right? And so with the Identity 5 stuff, like, man, there was just too many roles. I couldn't learn how to be an OT. I couldn't learn how to be a content creator, a shoutcaster, a boyfriend at the time in a long distance relationship, being away from my family because I travel all across the country. So it was just way too much for me. So these last 2 years have been fantastic, and that's why I'm not too concerned about Gaming Grizzly right now, because I know right now he's living his life, man. He's living his life, and I know he's embracing being a father and a husband and all that stuff, and I'm so happy for him. So maybe there'll be a day he comes back, and when he does, we should all welcome him back with open arms. He's my he's my favorite German friend. Kind of like a reward system. I do that at work. Well, it's not. It is a reward system, but it's also like, so. For instance, I worked in pediatrics for like maybe six months to no. I worked in pediatrics for about 9 months to a year. I specialize in geriatrics, and one of the things that we really try to emphasize is movement breaks. Like how many of you? This is a genuine question, and I would really appreciate your response if you're watching, because I will read them. You have two types of people when you take phone calls. You get the people who can sit there and have a conversation, and then you have the people who are fucking up there and you're just walking in circles like a dog, and you're walking while you're talking. Is there any of you who are like that dog that I'm giving the example of? Like you find yourself pacing, you find yourself just moving while you're on that phone. Is there anyone like that? Because that's how I am. And typically, if you're moving, there's research showing how movement can stimulate focus. Your body is actually desperately finding a measure to help you maintain your own focus, and that's why the human body, we don't really do things for no reason. That the evolutionarily speaking, it doesn't make sense with our peripheral nervous system. So typically, like if you see somebody going like this, you're not just doing this for this. This could provide some sensory stimuli for you to relax you. And for somebody else, the deep pressure could also provide you a stimulation where you're focused, right? So typically we see some individuals, especially in the clinic, especially with kids, where it's not really a reward system. That's more of like the old school psychological approach with reinforcement. This is actually utilizing your peripheral nervous system, right? In order to make sure that you're stimulated. So for some children, we have to calm them down, and for some other children, we have to actually wake them up, and so there's plenty of kids who are like Eeyore, and it's like, all right, how do we wake them up? And with other kids, it's like, how can we take this energy and use it to our advantage? And that's why the public school system is very outdated. And that's why to a degree psychology is a little outdated, because uh, the psych I have a bachelor's in psych, and then you do another 3.5 years of psych in grad school. But the problem is that psychology as a discipline, they're doing better now. They've changed it up since the 80s and 90s, but they used to really just separate the central and the peripheral nervous system, and you can't do that. Whereas like occupational therapy, we combine the two. So not only are we going to talk with you, we don't do psychotherapy, but we'll talk with you, give you insight and judgment. We have our own approach to doing so. But then it's like, how can we manipulate the body? Are you fidgety? Are you not? And how can we use that to your advantage, especially in the pediatric setting? And that's really what we focus on is a whole body approach. We don't just separate the two. So yeah, tapping your leg, you're looking for sensory input at that point in time, right? You're not, whenever you're doing something with your body, it is providing you something. So, and that's where we're really looking at things. Like, for instance, think about a dysfunctional example of that. Think about veterans or anyone really who does not like loud sounds. I don't know about you. I can't stand, unless you're my wife, I cannot stand being hugged. I'm not a touchy person. So, when I work with women, I'm not putting my hands on them. I'm not, because I don't like being touched either. So it takes me a while. Like when I first start dating somebody, I have to like let them know, like, hey, if I like, give me time. And then usually after a little bit, like then whenever I get hugged, it's like, all right, now I feel love, like I feel good. But like I gotta train my body. It's just that's how, whenever I eat chicken wings, this is what makes me creepy. Whenever I eat chicken wings, I absolutely have to wipe my hands in between each bite. I can't stand that shit on my hands. I cannot. I got a plate of napkins there, and I look like an idiot. I can't just sit there and have that crap on my hand. I have to. It's so bad. It is so unbelievably bad. So we all have sensory things that get us agitated, and then we also have things that calm us down. And so the occupational therapy approach, and we were founded by a medical doctor in psychiatry. We've been around since 1917, so we're over 100 years now. We look at we mostly were specializing with people in World War I. They came back with shell shock, or today we call that PTSD, and instead of just throwing them in asylums and saying good luck, there's nothing we can do. It was actually a lot of women who would give them arts and crafts, and over time they realized that people were doing better. They could hold the needle better, they could thread, they could do more complex stitches, and that's actually what helped kind of birth the whole rehabilitation movement, where they're like, wait a minute, what's this thing? It was neuroplasticity before we knew the term. And so that's what OT does. OT's foundation was actually in psychiatry. So we meet the federal guidelines for mental health professionals and experts. We just have a different approach. So like, for instance, if I work with a psychologist is going to do psychotherapy with you and help you gain insight and judgment, go deep down, figure out what's going on. Whereas like an OT, my job is to get the actual dysfunction functional. So if you're not brushing your teeth in the morning and that's something that's making you feel bad, then we're going to find a strategy to help you get there. Even if we get, like a plastic container that puts the toothbrush and toothpaste into the shower so it's hygienic, but now you don't have to go into the shower, and then after you're done, go and brush your teeth. That's a two-step sequence. Why not get it all done in one sequence, right? May not be preferable. Obviously brushing your teeth at the sink is better, but if it's functional, that's all we care about. So we're working with you to actually address the dysfunction. I've probably worked with maybe 200-300 patients with, we usually refer to it as failure to thrive in the medical field, just because getting a major depressive disorder, or it can be a little bit of complicating based on the criteria. And it can take me a week and a half to 2 weeks just to get a patient out of bed for the first time. And that's really how severe mental health disabilities or dysfunction can be. And it starts with just getting you to sit up. And I'll go there. I actually visited a patient on my birthday. My birthday was on a Saturday, and I was like, I'm gonna come here on my birthday. You're gonna get up, because if you're not, then I'm gonna be devastated on my birthday. And the patient was such, they started laughing. They're like, "Oh, you're a prick." And I go, "Dude, this is my entire birthday. It's on the line here, dude. It's on you." But like, I also knew that the humor was working with them, right? So that's why that's why you need to know how to approach different patients. How I approach a woman who is a victim of domestic assault within the past, week or so is going to be very different from a war veteran who might need us. You know what I mean? Like, there's different approaches, and that's where we, apply the clinical skills. So, and OT is a full body approach. We do everything. I do musculoskeletal, so I do muscles, rotator cuffs, I do necks, I do the lower back, all of it. And so to learn all that when you come out of grad school, man, you're not competent for at least 5 years. Then you got to do urinary and bowel, and I do wounds and wheelchair modifications for every single joint of your body. And to be a full body therapist, man, it never stops. You're constantly learning. Actually, I have right here, I bought this kit. It's right next to it, and I read this every night, and it's all of the recent textbooks and research articles. So that's actually, I don't watch TV. All I do is read research, which is why don't get me started on fluoride, because I'm telling you, oh, I can't wait to make that video. You have no idea. You have no idea, boo-boos! So, yeah. So anyways, I had to take a break, and I'm back now. And we're going to be doing animated music videos. That's my favorite part. So, can I just say, a bunch of people calling you grandpa is really funny to me, because my grandfather was an occupational therapist as well, with a book he wrote and made music. Grandpa Persuades Real News. Hey, that's good. OTs, we are clinicians. We become doctors in our own field, right? The problem is that we're in every school system. We should be predominantly in every hospital. We're in every nursing home, or any good home health agency will always have an OT. If they don't have an OT, then it's not evidence-based, and you should be picking a different home health agency. We're everywhere. No one knows what the fuck we do, because none of us go on social media. We just kind of like stick to ourselves, and it's been like this for 100 years, because we spent more time petitioning the government. We were officially affiliated with the American Medical Association in the mid-1930s. So then you have all these people calling themselves doctors and all this stuff, and they go on Twitter and they give the stupidest advice. And it's just like, but why do... So really where OTs need to go, not wearing a red wig like I am now, we need to put ourselves out there and really tell people what we do. It's a full body approach. I don't want to hear, unless your grandmother or grandfather is in active terminal kidney failure or whatever. Let me tell you something. I don't like when people are like, oh, they can never go home. That's not your job. That's my job. That's part of my job, right? As one member of the team. And so usually what I tell patients is that if I can't get you home by any means necessary, then your family is going to know that we have exhausted every approach, because there's not going to be somebody who comes at your family member with this amount of energy and dedication and passion. And that's exactly why with my company as a travel OT, I'm so heavily sought out. I'm telling you, there's so many patients. Oh, well, they can't wipe themselves. Well, guess what? I know how to do that. All right, that's my job. My job is to regain function. That's it. So ADLs, they call them ADLs. It's self-care. So it's your ability to dress yourself, feed yourself, clean yourself, take a shower. Then there's IADLs, like your bills. We call that functional cognition. Anything that affects your ability to function, I need to make sure I'm assessing, right? And I can't tell you how many times somebody, oh, well, this patient's morbidly obese and they can't reach behind them and wipe, and they're prone to infection. It's like, right, because they've never worked with an OT. I'll go in there and modify their entire toilet. I'll put a whole bidet system in there as well. I'll put a damn jetpack down there. So every time they take a shit, I'll teach them how to lean forward, spread the cheeks, and make sure that they get some good wiping in there. Because that's what people deserve. That's what people deserve. These are taxpayers. These are people who help build this country. And you're just going to say they can't go home because you can't. That's my job. That's my job. I can't tell you. It breaks my heart how many times I go to a clinic for the first time and I'm like, why is this patient here? They could be at home. That's probably happened about 12 to 15 times in the past 2 years, where I got patients who are living in facilities for 4 or 5 years because they fell through the cracks. We get them back in a par. I'm like, this person's doing fine. They had a stroke. They're not going to be at full capacity fucking 3 months just because Medicare, that's all they cover. I had one guy, he had a hemorrhagic stroke. And so 80% of people die with that. And he lost half of his skull. They put it in his abdomen to keep the skull healthy. And he gave me permission to talk about this, but it's not going to violate HIPAA anyways, because I travel all across the world. So there's no way it goes back to him. And he was one of the smartest people I ever met. And when I first met him, he couldn't even sit up. And for 3 months, I worked with him every day. Same thing with physical therapy. And we slowly got him to be able to get his postural control. Typically, I try to get a patient to be able to sit up at the edge of the bed because it takes a lot of muscle recruitment in your abdominals, your lower back. We do scooting and all that stuff, pressure redistribution, so you're not getting pressure wounds on your bottom, especially around the ischial tuberosities and coccyx. And so after 6 months, I had this guy being able to get on and off a toilet. He was able to, after 3 months rather, and his family contacted me because I told him, don't give up on therapy. Like your Medicare is only going to cover 100 days, but there's a lot of literature on stroke recovery, and you gain a lot in the first year, but there's no evidence that you should stop. So keep going. And the family sent me a video of him getting in and out of a car and driving. He had a thing called neglect. And so what it is that he couldn't see, when you look at the midline, he couldn't see to the left. But when you have a medical diagnosis of neglect, and this is something that OTs look for in any stroke patient, it's not because the mechanical eye doesn't work. The mechanical eye is fine. It's an inattention issue. And so for a long time, I kept putting his food and everything to the left. So he got good at compensating. And then you're looking at functional cognition. So can he remember that he has a deficit and therefore compensate? You can actually drive, especially if you're young and healthy, with neglect if you train your body how to do it. So if you say, okay, I really have to rotate my head, and that's all functional cognition. Can you remember it? Can you do it? Can you organize, plan, sequence? And about a year and a half later, he was up and driving again. And I was so proud of him. And I always told the family to stay in touch with me if you have any questions. So to think that somebody like him was pretty much deemed as probably living in a nursing home the rest of their lives. I think he's working at a university now because he's got his PhD. So that's where my attitude comes from. First of all, hey, Night My Love, thank you for the gifts. I did not properly thank you. Thank you, Night My Love. I love you. You gave 5 gifts. You're amazing. But this attitude that I get, that's why sometimes I can be very, very assertive and aggressive. And over time, I've had to learn how do I take this aggressiveness that I can be and work with it, right? Not trying to fight people, not trying to get in trouble with the cops. Like how can and that's when I started learning at 16. And that's why I don't spend all my time fighting people on Twitter and Facebook. And I used to do that. I used to argue people just for the sake of arguing. And it's like once I became an OT, all you're doing is arguing every day. You're arguing other medical professionals, telling them, "Oh, well, we don't know if they're gonna go home." What do you mean? They're here for fucking rehab. It's the first week. They got 3 months. No. So you're constantly fighting them, and then you're constantly sometimes you have to fight for the patient because family just sometimes family it's really hard on them to see their family member sick and they start wondering should they be in a home. So one thing that we always are passionate about is always making sure that we fight for our patients. So every day you're advocating. Now I'm in a good building right now. So what's really cool about the medical doctors here and the nursing staff is that they're very good team players. And you're not the only person on the team. You're just one team member. But the building I'm at now is good. But in some of those buildings, it's like they don't really have any rehab representation. So they're just like, oh, well, they can't wipe themselves. So how do they go home? And so you have to, and then insurance companies, those Med Advantage plans, man, they got some benefits to them. I can't fucking stand Med Advantage. I can do all my documentation right. And then you'll have the insurance company say, oh, well, in one note, it said they could walk 35 feet. And it's like, yeah, in 2 weeks, they had one instance they walked 35 feet. They can't wipe themselves. They can't dress themselves. Oh, well, they're good enough. They can go 35 feet. And then you appeal it. And then they say, too bad. So with these insurance companies, it's going to get really bad. It is going to get really, really bad for the elderly. And that's what breaks my heart is that when I have way too many patients to delegate that you no matter what, you bring your work home. And that's why there's so many medical professionals who are abusing drugs. They're drinking too much alcohol. I have to monitor the alcohol intake because if I'm not paying attention, next thing I know, I'm like, oh, wow, I was on stream 5 days in a row having 2 or 3 beers. You know what I mean? Like I gotta be like tonight, Gatorade. Like I'm just like, oh, wait a minute, we can't fall down that rabbit hole, right? So it's stressful. It really is. It's a stressful field, and you are an advocate. You're fighting insurance companies. If you're in a bad building, you're fighting them. Everybody's got their interests. People want to delay discharges so they can make more money off your Med A, or they want to prematurely discharge you because they don't want to take up a Medicaid bed. And it's just the healthcare system is bullshit. And so you're constantly fighting. If I need imaging, if I think they need a urinary analysis, for some places I got to jump through hoops, and I'm like, can we just get it done? Can we just get it done? Can we just save time here? Yeah. So there we go. Yo, Coco, thank you for the bits. 300 bits. I love you. What's going on? I literally had no idea he was still alive. I was so shocked when I saw this. You didn't know I was alive. I've been gone for a little bit, but it's okay. We back. It is good to see you, Jordan. Thank you for being so kind over there. Yeah, with my mom, who's not even considered close to elderly, they are just so harsh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay. I need the fluoride video. It makes me so upset, too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about RFK. I know that the politics talk, everyone's getting a little tired of it. But that gentleman, I don't know what he's over there. So fluoride has been added to the public water system since like 1965. There's so much overwhelming amount of evidence that shows how good it is for especially those who live in their lesser available communities with access to healthcare. It can completely reduce cavities by 20 to 30% in kids, which means they're not losing their teeth as fast, or they're not losing teeth when they're 19, which are adult. And he's over there. He comes out with a Twitter post saying, "Oh, fluoride has been linked to this, and this." And it's like, but you're not linking. First of all, there's like 45 years of research to this. One of the articles that he was trying to promote was when people in Mexico, and other places, when they're exposed to levels that are almost twice the federally regulated levels in our tap water. So now he wants to go around saying, oh, see, fluoride is linked to developmental delays. And it's like, first of all, that's not cause and effect. So just because there's a link, if people who listen to jazz music are 30% more sexually active when they're 65, there's a relationship, but it doesn't mean it's because they listen to jazz music. It could be that they dance more, they're more physically active, they have better hearts, right? So you got to be careful. Relationships are not cause and effect. But then the research that you're trying to cite are national levels that are literally twice the amount that's even in any of our tap water. So don't get me wrong, we should always reevaluate and reassess public health. I'm in favor of that. Oh, it's been linked to arthritis, and it's like linked to arthritis, but there's research that shows that it's not linked to arthritis. So why are you just promoting the one research article that I think the one with developmental delay? I looked at the sample size and it was like 200. Well, why aren't you citing the research with? They have a longitudinal study with over 10 years of research and follow-up where there was no link to developmental delay. So why on God's earth are you picking one where the levels are exposed to higher numbers with a reduced sample size and then running with it? And this is what people do. It's what people do. They cherry pick the research. They don't assess all of it. I think another one it's related to fractures, and there's research that says it's not related to fractures at all. You could have 10 studies that say it doesn't, and you have one that says it does, and you're gonna run with that. And now you want to remove fluoride from the public health system, and it's like there's not enough evidence. There's barely any. So if you want, we can assess it, and that's what's happening right now. We should always allow that. I'm not against that, but to go nuclear and immediately remove it, do you know what that's gonna do to those on public tap water, especially those parents right now? We're in a 2-income society, not a 1-income society. So now you're talking about people where it's really difficult for them to get kids to brush their teeth. What if they have sensory deficits and they don't want to brush their teeth? And parents, there's a lot of harsh criticism and negativity on parents, and I think everyone's just trying to survive. And so we see the overwhelming positive effects of what fluoride has allowed our constituents, and your immediate reaction is misapplying research and just immediately wanting to remove fluoride. Don't get me wrong, there's research out there that says there might be links. I'm not saying we shouldn't study it, but I'm saying you can't just go out there and just say we're going to remove fluoride and get everybody scared of fluoride. Like, that's just nuts to me. Fucking nuts. Half of this I thought we were talking about Florian in identity. Oh man. So we'll see. We'll see. It shouldn't even be a political thing. If the Democrats were saying this, then I'd be up in arms about it as well. So we'll be incorporating some videos on that where it's like I will literally show you the evidence and the data, and you can make up your own mind, right? It's not really trying to convince you, but going nuclear right away. Well, let me tell you, a lot of you probably still have your teeth because of fluoride. I don't know too many kids who brush their teeth twice a day, every day on their own in their teenage years, or even their young adult years, or even adult years. There's people right now who still don't floss and all that stuff, and there's no judgment on them. Maybe they weren't raised to do so, or maybe they just don't have it in their routine. But maybe they just don't realize how important it is, or like I said, most people don't brush or floss just because it's not in their routine to do so twice a day. And I have no judgment on them. I'm not gonna be like, ew, they're gross, or that's fucking stupid. I don't know too many human beings that do everything right. Whether it's moisturizing the skin, showering, eating good, alcohol intake, cigarettes. Everyone's got vices. Sometimes we do better. Going to the gym, not living sedentary lifestyles, which is completely different from going to the gym, which is another thing that the medical field needs to catch up on. For the love of God, going to the gym is good for exercise and physical activity, but you can go to the gym and live a very sedentary lifestyle and still be at significant risk. Going to the gym for 45 minutes doesn't eliminate that risk. So that's the other thing. That's where my research is focused on historically, is that we really need to look at exercise and physical activity separate from sedentary. So if you go and work a desk job for 8 hours and you got to commute for 2 hours, You know, that's 10 hours sitting on your ass. You can go to the gym for 45 minutes, but there's still negative consequences of being so sedentary. And the exercise will help, but it doesn't eliminate your health risk with sedentary lifestyle. And that's something that that's something that the medical field needs to do a better job at emphasizing. So when I'm assessing a patient, I'm actually assessing physical activity and sedentary lifestyles, two completely separate things. It's like eating healthy, but then drinking excessive alcohol. You can't just say, oh, well, it's okay to drink excessive alcohol because you eat well. No, you got to make sure they're separate things. There are separate risk for sedentary behavior people, even if they go to an exercise. And that education is about allowing you the information for you to provide um, uh, things that you can do throughout the day. If you're at a desk job, is there a way to modify that so you can stand up a little bit and get some movement in? And so we'll see. We'll see. All I know is that the Republicans, they don't have any excuses now, right? Like let's go beyond the rage. Let's go beyond all that for just a second here. They got the House, they got the Senate, they got everything. They got the all three branches. So there's no more excuses. But let me tell you something. I'm going to fact anything that is related to my job, related to health, mental health, anything, I'm going to fact check everything. I'm going to post it on Twitter. There's going to be things that they're right about. We should applaud that, right? And then I don't care about the party situation. I care about the objective data and the objective information, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. It doesn't matter when it comes to objective data regarding public health, science, research, mental health. Um, I feel like I'm going to get into a war with people on Twitter with the transgender stuff. That's going to be a difficult one. It's not even in the fucking DSM-5. It's not a mental health disorder. That's not what gender dysphoria is. For fuck's sake, that's not what gender dysphoria is. That is the incongruence, the feeling of it. It's not because, it's the feeling of the separation of two. Gender identity disorder got removed in 2013. That's not what gender dysphoria is. Guys, the amount of fucking, if you want to be ignorant, that's fine, but don't try to use medical terms if you don't know what that, oh, gender dysphoria, that's not what it is, boo-boo. Oh my, I need more Gatorade. Sugar-free. Got to get the electrolytes in. All right, let's see. What if you did something that was only online in the beginning so you stay anonymous, and if anyone tries to cause problems, you can remove them really easily? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not keeping up with that. What happened? Let's see, with recent events too, for so many people, their mental health is declining, and that often comes with struggles to upkeep dental hygiene, especially if you, oh yeah. Uh-huh. I let's see. My back tooth, I'm only 34. I already lost my back tooth. I got punched in the face by a patient, and then it got infected, and I was like, oh, it's gonna go away. It ain't go away. So like, yeah, this tooth's fucked. And I'm like, really? Son of a bitch. He's like, what? My dentist is super nice. So he's like, oh, what are you gonna do, man? It's a traumatic event. And I was like, all right, yeah. I was like, so I'm already mad eyes. I already got a tooth gone at 34 for fuck's sake. So I was thinking about getting an implant though, just to keep it all, because I'm worried about shifting and all that stuff. So I got decked in the mouth, and I became good friends with that patient. They were just going through some shit. Let's see. Gatorade. Well, all right. So we got Powerade. Um, we got the zero sugar one because I'm not a big fan of added sugar. But there's a lot of conflicting evidence about the substitutes. So I've been trying to read the research on that because there's concerns about that. Make sure you all get your electrolytes in too. Don't just pound water. You need electrolytes. If you don't have electrolytes, you don't have anything that's absorbing the water. So, oh, that reminds me, I forgot to drink water for 6 hours. Yeah, I'm awful, man. I'm at a high risk for kidney issues later in life because I don't drink enough fluids throughout the day. So I have to cue myself for sure to try to stay on top of that one. So what I have found, by the way, so what I have found for water intake is one of the easiest strategies, especially for patients that need to increase their water intake. So that's a big thing for certain patients, especially people with chronic kidney diseases, because they go in different stages. You got stage 1, 2, 3A, 3B, you got 4. And then you got to make sure that you know which patients need to increase water because I work with the most medically complex patients. So you have people with CHF, congestive heart failure, edema. So some of them will actually be on water restrictions, right? But typically the easiest way is if you just have a bottle that has your daily intake there, so you don't have to refill it. I've found success with patients like that because then they don't have to cognitively constantly think about it. It's right there, and so you don't have to think about refilling the bottle twice. Did I refill the bottle twice? And it's just nice and easy and convenient. But that strategy is a little bit easier in other countries like Europe, Africa, because a lot of them drink their water, room temperature, whereas a lot of Americans like their water ice cold. So it's actually a little bit tougher in America to get that strategy because they constantly want their water cold. So what's going on, Lane? How are you? Persuadable, do you like Baja Blast? So I don't mind them, but I don't like drink a lot of that stuff. I don't drink like soda or anything. I just kind of my thing is coffee, water, or my Powerade and beer. That's the three things, and I'm trying to make sure that I cut back on the beer intake because my problem is that is like if I go out to a bar, like if I go out for dinner, I'm perfectly fine. I will never overdrink. It's not a thing. I'll barely have a beer an hour. I drink light beer, so we're talking 3.8 to 4.2%. I avoid hard liquor at all costs. The problem is actually when I have alcohol in my house because I have so much fun with whatever. I mean, I'm really just a happy person. So whatever the fuck I'm doing, I'm having a ball. It doesn't matter. Persuade's having a ball. And my problem is like so when I come on live stream, if I want to have beer, I actually when I go to the liquor store, I try my best not to buy like a 6 pack. I try my best not to buy a 12 pack anymore. Because what happens is that if I'm like on stream and I'm having fun, I may go through it and not even realize it. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And you can't do that. And so typically what I do, my strategy on the alcohol intake these days is that I don't have any alcohol in the house unless I go out and I buy like a Kinger, which is like 2 beers. I'll buy one of those, and then that's it. That's all I'm allowed to buy. And that kind of keeps me regulated. So then once I'm done, I'm gonna be too lazy to go back out. So now it's like, all right, like I got my Powerade, I got my water. That's how I regulate myself. So the other thing too is that with a clinical degree and whatnot, you have to be careful with how much intake you have because A, you have to make sure you can go to work, but B, if you ever get like a DUI or something, it's a fucking nightmare because now you got to report it to your board. The board is going to investigate you. Now you got to prove you don't have a substance abuse issue. And so that's why like when I go out, I've never had an issue. I don't have issues at all. I know like, oh, 2 beers with dinner, we're good. It's when I'm at my own house. So it goes back to that thing we were talking about, how environment can shape your personality. Some people are the opposite. They're fine at home, but when they go out to the bar, they're having too much fun. For some reason, that's just not a thing with me. So just because I know the stakes, I gotta drive. If I get pulled over, then that's gonna be a fucking nightmare. So I'm a tea addict. You should get into tea. Yeah, I don't mind tea. Tea, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to tea. So I have a thing called GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux disease. Just think of like acid reflux, and GERD's a little bit more on the heavier side. So, like when I drink coffee, I drink cold brew. That's something that I recommend to my patients a lot if they're allowed to have coffee and what. And most people are drinking coffee because cold brew specifically removes a lot of the acidity within the brewing process. So typically, if I have people with throat issues, difficulty, but they won't give up coffee whatsoever, which I don't blame them. I mean, I drink coffee. Cold brew is much easier on the esophagus. And so there's a lot of research with tea about how warm tea can help soothe the mucus and everything in that area as well. You just got to be careful with the acidity because some people drink so much tea they end up getting headaches. And then you got to be careful about the caffeine because let's see, on the top of my head, somebody can fact check me now. I'm pretty sure that the American Heart Association, it's 2 to 400 milligrams of caffeine is allowed a day for a healthy heart. So you should always seek your physician for clarification because you may have medical issues that other people don't have. And I think black tea on average is what, like between 30 and 60 milligrams. So are you drinking decaffeinated tea? But it is better because then you can microdose your caffeine intake throughout the day. So instead of having like 2 cups of coffee where you're immediately at like, let's say 250 milligrams, depending on how much coffee you're actually drinking, you can kind of microdose it a little bit and have a little bit more of you're kind of slowing down how much you get hit with that caffeine so it can last you longer throughout the day. Because caffeine doesn't give you energy. It just shuts the neurotransmitters off that or blocks the neurotransmitters that says you're tired. So the last time I was reading the evidence on that, a lot of people think coffee gives you energy. It doesn't. It gives you it blocks the neurotransmitters that tell you you're tired. Kind of like heat and ice. They both are pain management strategies, but physiologically they do very different things. With heat, it's going to increase blood flow, and because of the increased blood flow and increase of synovial fluid within the joints, as well as the elasticity of tight, rigid muscles, because of heat application on an upper extremity or lower extremity limb, you therefore can have an increased pain tolerance, so therefore the pain goes down. Whereas ice physiologically will shut off that pain receptors, hopefully numb the area, reduce blood flow, but by proxy, you have both strategies that can reduce pain for different reasons. That's why a lot of people with arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis respond very well with heat, but then if you have somebody with MS, heat is contraindicated. You don't, if you have MS, you do not put heat on somebody. It's extremely contraindicated. But if you have Raynaud's disease, poor circulation in the hands, you can never use ice because they're at a higher risk for frostbite. So, welcome to the fucking medical field. We're just putting an ice pack on somebody. Oh, dear Lord. What would give you energy if not coffee? Well, definitely a good sleep routine. Exercise will do it. For me, increase physical activity. If you're very tired, though, you should always get a blood workup done. Make sure your blood panel comes back pretty well. Staying hydrated is a big thing as well. So whenever we deal with fatigue, it's going to depend. Everybody is a little bit different. Being in a routine, for me, I get extra stimulated when I'm outside my house. So if I'm inside my house all day, I'm a little bit more tired unless I'm cleaning or doing something. If I can't just sit here, I'll be tired. I won't wake up. So like typically my routine is I wake up, I immediately take a shower. It's the first thing. In there, take a shower. Man, that just scared the shit out of me. What's going on, Moo? Holy shit, can you guys hear that? That is fucking loud. That is loud. It was good. Thank you, Moo Woo. So like for me, I gotta be in a routine. The minute I take a shower, the minute I feel like a human and I'm dressed and I brush my teeth, it all has to happen right away. It's the first thing that's gotta happen. Then I get a coffee. I'll have a cold brew coffee. And I get my body moving, being out of the house, keeping myself active. It's what stimulates me. And then Try to go to the gym right after work. That gives me a little bit of extra energy. And I try my best to eat healthy, but that's my vice. Sometimes I eat too much fried food. Um, so whenever I'm working with a patient with fatigue, it's never a one-stop thing. And there's times where I have to refer you to a specialist, make sure that you don't have any pulmonary issues, maybe that you're just very weak and it takes a lot of energy to do things. And then how you address fatigue will depend on what type of diagnosis I'm working with, especially your age as well. So chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia, pain in itself is now classified as a disease by itself. So when I'm looking at a patient, we're assessing all of this. Is the pain just reducing your appetite, making you cranky and agitated, and do you have something like fibromyalgia or other type of diagnoses? Do you got something going on with a blood panel result? So typically you work with your physician first, and then if the physician is kind of like, I don't really know, everything is kind of coming back good, then it's not atypical for you to get a referral to somebody like me, and then we go into a different direction, you know? And that's why you should always consult the physician first. However, in some states, a patient will come to me first after a basic blood panel. The doctor reads that, says you're good. You'll come to me, and then we'll be assessing everything. I'll be looking at your sleep, and I'll be looking at your routine. I'll be looking at your diet, and then if there's things that are a little out of whack there, then that's when we refer you to a dietitian, or I might be bringing you to a neurologist if you start showing signs of neurological dispositions where we're seeing it functionally. It could be a cardiopulmonary thing that isn't seen in the doctor's office because you're sitting there, but I see that your vitals are drastically changing when you're doing functional tasks. And a lot of the cardiopulmonary stuff is if you're on a treadmill or laying down in a clinic. So but that's where OT specialty comes to. You know, like if I have a patient with COPD and then I have a pulmonologist who says, all right, keep them on 2 or 3 liters. Sometimes you want their oxygen above 92% if they have heart issues. Sometimes you want it at 88% because you don't want them to retain CO2. Hypercapnia, that's called. So sometimes excessive O2 is not good. So it all changes. I can have two patients with the two same diagnosis with two separate parameters. But then you see that when they're at rest, at 2 liters, they're at 98%, but they're at hypercapnia risk. But then when they start moving around, they're at 92%. And so sometimes we give that data to somebody and say, hey, just so you know, like they might be good enough to be at 1 liter at rest, but then they might need to be 2 or 3 liters with movement. And now comes the functional cognition. Can they remember it? Do they have insight? Do they have judgment? Do they carry it over? So now we're assessing not only the mental health aspect of things in terms of personality and interpersonal strategies, but now I'm looking at the cognitive process and is their executive function working? And that's where we're really spending a lot of time trying to petition CMS and all of this stuff, because right now, like for instance, the presidential elections, they're doing basic cognitive studies or cognitive assessments. They're using things like what we call the MOCA, the SLUMS, the MMSE. These are assessments that I would use in a clinic to kind of get an idea of how well your brain is working. But there is no research that shows that number actually tells me how you function. And this is where we're really this is where we're really trying to update Medicare and trying to tell them that I can do a MOCA. Like I can go in front of a court system and they can say, okay, what is their assessment on the slums? And they can have a 16 on the slums, but they can still fully take care of themselves. And I can have a patient with a 16 on the slums and they are not capable of taking care of themselves at all. I saw this once where a patient scored a 21 on that cognitive test, and they ended up coming to me an outpatient because they almost burned their house down. So those cognitive scores, it's like a BMI, so to speak. Now, if you score very, very low, then yeah, it's a good red flag. It's a good indicator. It's not that it's useless. It's that you can't just equate a score to a functional task. I can have a patient who has moderate stage dementia, but the long-term memory is in a different part from the frontal cortex and short-term memory. And because they got good education in the beginning of their dementia diagnosis, I'll literally have a patient who can't remember me 2 hours later, but they can consistently say, I can't touch the oven because I have memory issues. And then I can have a patient who's up and walking, they're dressing themselves, they're toileting themselves, and if they had the first opportunity, they would hop in a car because they don't think that they're a threat if they're deemed a threat. Or I'll have a patient, for example, who might score um, a 19 on a cognitive score test, a 19 out of 30. So that's like barely that's more of a mild cognitive impairment, but it gets a little dicey in that range because it could either be a mild cognitive impairment or mild dementia, and that's not my job to diagnose at that aspect of things. But I can have a patient who scores a 19, and I'll ask them to manage 6 medications, and they'll literally take that whole damn pill bottle and put it all in one day. And then when I try to point it out to them and say, hey, do you see how this could be dangerous? They'll be like, no. Well, the question is it a personality thing where they're getting defensive because they know that they need to get out of here? Or is it literally a cognitive aspect of things where they don't have insight? And typically in the cognitive field, the first thing that you assess is awareness. If you don't have awareness, then it's very difficult to have judgment unless it's by random chance. So you're looking at awareness, you're looking at insight. And so right now, hospital systems, they want to cut back on cost. So they don't, there's some hospital systems who now only have like one therapy, like PT or something. And then they're discharging patients without actually doing a functional cognitive exam. And that's OT's bread and butter is functional cognition because that's all our expertise is ADLs and IADLs. Anything related to taking care of yourself. Some OTs only focus on driver rehabilitation, applying the medical aspect of things in terms of like if I have a patient with severe rheumatoid arthritis and their hands are permanently like this, contracted, how am I going to adapt the steering wheel so they can grasp it, use their shoulder, right? So we're everywhere. We do all that stuff. And you have the healthcare system now. They want to cut back on cost. So what they're doing is that they're prematurely discharging patients because they know that an OT would never say they're safe to discharge, and then they lose revenue because now they don't have that bed open for the next person. So that's where a lot of people are. Whenever I hear a hospital system doesn't have an OT, I'm just like, you're not evidence-based then. Yeah, how are you assessing it? You're using a cognitive score. A cognitive score is great if it scores very low, because then you can use that as an indicator and be like, all right, there's something going on here, and we need to, do testing. But just because they score high does not mean they can function. It doesn't exist. So unless you actually do some of that functional, and we call it functional cognition, unless you're actually doing the assessing, you really don't know what they're at. And that's where people are prematurely getting discharged. If you get discharged from the hospital and your family member doesn't get a 3-day qualifying stay, then Medicare isn't going to cover a nursing home for 1 to 3 months if they need skilled rehabilitation. So what I find is that in some hospital systems, they are literally discharging the most unsafe people, and then they end up coming to our nursing home and their insurance won't cover it because they didn't get a 3-day qualifying stay. So your mom and dad, who just spent their entire lives on their house but didn't sign everything over, is now going to have to pay up to 10 grand a month. And if they can't afford that, then guess what? They got to go on Medicaid, and then the government puts a lien on their assets, and there'll be a lien on that. They won't take it away, but once both are dead, then there's a lien on it. So that whole like American dream where they say save up, buy a house. Yeah, unless you're like Houdini and you sign everything over 5 years in advance from a medical emergency, unless you have a crazy amount of assets in store that can buy you, you're talking a minimum of probably 100 grand at that point to help you with rehab if insurance doesn't cover it because of no qualifying stay. You'll lose everything. You will literally lose everything. So if I have a patient in rehab and I got to get them home, and they don't have anyone to take care of them, but then they have a Med Advantage plan and they want to cut them off in 20 days when traditionally they should have 2 to 3 months, and that's what we're fighting for. But the insurance company's like, nah, too bad. Well, now there's no one that can take care of them. They need more rehab. Now they have to go on Medicaid, and all of their assets are now held by there's a lien on them. if they don't have other assets to pay for it. They'll deplete everything that they've had very quickly, which is usually what needs to happen before you can go on Medicaid. So that's the amount of stress that we have as therapists in this field. If we don't pay attention, if we don't get you home, if we don't find creative strategies for you to survive so you can get home health or whatever the case may be, and that's what's on the line. And so you have hospital systems that are cutting back so they can save on money. Because if you don't have many therapists looking at the patient, and if you only got one and all you're looking at is how many feet they can walk, but you're not looking at the cognition at all, then if there's nobody saying they're not safe to go home because the testing isn't done, then they're not liable. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. It's all over the country. I've worked in 10 different states. Some hospital systems are, when I find a hospital system doesn't have an OT, it's not evidence-based. I would never send a family member there. When I see a home health agency not have home health is our bread and butter. That's like PT and athletics. Home health is my bread and butter. Oh, you need a wheelchair, you can't get around, we need to modify the environment. We'll change everything up to make sure that we give you your best shot at being able to take care of yourself, to get on and off the toilet, wipe yourself, whether adaptive, restorative, whether I need to rebuild or regain your strength and endurance. It's a full body approach. Full body approach. And then what happens is that with these home health companies, when they petition your insurance companies to provide you home health, so say if you're safe enough to go home, so I discharge you from my clinic, now you're safe enough to go home, but you're not safe, you're homebound, right? You're not safe enough to leave your house at will. You're very weak still, but like you'll get better. Well, when they petition the government, they only may make, like, let's say $2,800 for that 30 days. Now that home health company has to take that $2,800. A, they want to make a profit, so they want to spend it all, but B, now they got to allocate that among your staff. So if they only give you one therapy discipline and then they're only giving you a certain amount of nursing, then they take the profits. So when I find out that a home health agency doesn't even have OT, I don't use them. I don't recommend them. I tell patients to avoid them, because if you're a patient and me and PT and nursing and the MD, we got you home, you're still very weak. Why are you going to go to a home health agency that only has physical therapy when there's a home health agency that has speech therapy, OT, and physical therapy? For the same amount of money, you could be getting triple the amount of therapy. And speech therapy is not just the ability to talk. They do cognition. They're fantastic at it. They have a crazy amount of psychology background. They're pathologists. I mean, I don't know if they meet the federal guidelines of behavioral experts, but I consider them as such. I mean, they go to school learning about mental health and cognition for years and years, 8 years or something crazy. So if you're a patient that needs more cognitive training, then you'll have speech and OT double up on that. And PT as well. PT does it as well. So what they do is, you're seeing the home health agencies, you're seeing hospitals. They'll do their best to only really try to hire one if they can get away with it. And then that's less money that they got to pay. That's more reimbursement from insurance companies, in the sense that now they're not taken away from it. And patients are at a huge disadvantage. And no one's talking about it. It's all over the place. It's nuts to me. Absolutely nuts to me. You know how many times, oh man, I will never forget that moment of my entire life when somebody almost burned their house down, and I go into their notes and they didn't even do a cognitive test, and the guy is exhibiting significant signs of difficulty with executive function. And I'm like, this is a tragedy. Oh, well, we can't find anyone. It's tough to find therapists, but I don't see any of your applications. They're not on Indeed. So now I tell home health companies, if I'm recommending my patient as a medically necessary service that they need OT, and you don't have OT, I'm going to tell them that I strongly recommend them going with the other home health agency. And then it's very funny how quickly those home health agencies hear about you, and then they start putting applications out there on Indeed. Oh, we're hiring an OT. You should have been hiring an OT. You should have been hiring speech. That's what patients deserve. They deserve nursing and 3 therapists if deemed medically necessary. If not deemed medically necessary, then it's not a big deal. But if it is, and then I'll call them sometimes, and I'll be like, hey, do you have OT I'm just in the area. Oh no, we only got one. Most people only need one. And I'm like, that's not your job. That is I'm the OT. No one dictates. That's my job. Nobody dictates my specialty. Nobody. So then you have people who are willing to lie into patients. Now, I was in one place a year ago and I called them up and I go, hey, I'm just wondering, I got a family member. I was lying. I was like, I got a family member. Do you guys have speech and OT? And what they say is, unfortunately, we do not. We really wish that we did. So our PTs go through a lot of extra training for certifications and stuff. We do the best that we can. But no, that is ethical because now you're being honest. You're not misleading anyone. You're telling them circumstances. There's not enough people. That's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you start, and that's what the companies would do. They'll pretend like, oh, no, 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 you just need no. It's like, what do you mean? No, no, you're prioritizing your profits. And then you're not being honest with the patient and saying, hey, there was a facility. I was at a facility and I was the only therapist there full time. We had a PT who came in, I think, twice a week, and we had a speech therapist that came in once a week. So I had to provide as much therapy as I could to the entire caseload. Every single family, every single patient, I would tell them, I've been doing this for over 6 years now. I work on a whole body approach. I've been doing a lot of training on this, so I feel pretty comfortable, but you must understand that this is not the best for your family member, that they deserve, in some cases, PT and OT, in some cases, PT, speech, and OT. So for some patients, I was giving them 95 to 100 minutes of therapy a day, trying to, especially stroke patients, trying to apply ADLs to get them to start talking, communicating again. But if I had a speech therapist, it'd make my job 10 times easier. That's their bread and butter. So you do the best that you can, but you be ethical and say, these are the circumstances. You're in this nursing home. There's no other nursing home. We're in a very rural area. So I don't know, man, the healthcare field, let me tell you something. It's getting bad, guys, and no one cares until it's your mom and dad. And eventually people, it's already happening now. People sending me messages about their loved ones saying that people are saying that they can never leave or they never go. And people have doubts about it. They have doubts about it because they're like, that they're only getting, this therapy so many times, or they don't get a lot of OT or whatever. And it's like, oh man, it just breaks my heart. If you have anyone that you love, a mother, a father, a grandparent, and they can't go home, that's gonna not now you're gonna have to wonder. You're gonna have to wonder, are they receiving in achieving as many services possible to help them to the maximum? And I can't tell you how many places in this country they are not. And then you got to remember too, the nursing homes, they sometimes, if you have good insurance, they like to delay your discharge so they can get as much money out of your insurance as possible. So other ones, it's the opposite. The whole healthcare field, man. You'll have very busy hospitals that try to kick you out prematurely so they can get the room open for the next person. It's just the system, man. It's exhausting. So you guys got me talking about something serious. Let's talk about them pharaoh mains, right? Some of the most annoying. No, I'm just. I'm gonna start another war. Oh man, I already know it. I already see the brewing between the pharaoh. It's the same stuff with oh man, the priestess community. We had such a love-hate relationship. We had such a love-hate relationship, and I'm telling you, she's on my radar. We're gonna do some investigating soon. We're gonna get the Scooby Mobile going, and we're gonna start looking at some things with her. This is crazy. I just hit 19 and got my first job, so even at my age, I gotta consider these things. Yeah, Neon, you do. Executive function machine as broke as McDonald's ice cream machine. Lucifer, that was fantastic. Hey, Nessa, thank you so much for that gift, by the way. That's extremely kind of me. I mean, kind of you. That's not kind of me. I I was reading the next. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, keep giving me gifts so I can say that I'm kind to me. JB, you're cool as fuck, man. Nah, you're cool, JB. I appreciate you. Thank you for spending some time with me. So, um, let's see. I came back to this window so fast. Let's see. Faro is annoying. She really is. She is. So, okay. I think that's everything. Join the Discord, my Discord. Join the tournament Discord. I should be back on streaming tomorrow night for our rank mode. Like I said, today was a big self-care day, and I still have to. I got to get my bedding done, the rest of my bedding. Um, and I have other things that I have to do. So I got to finish it all today because I got to work the next 5 days. So like I said, I'm working 10 out of 11 days. So next weekend I should be on live feed more because I'm going to be in my house. I didn't have Saturday off this weekend, so the next weekend we'll have a lot more time. Should be streaming every night. Um, I think that's everything. Am I missing anything, chat? Persuade, can you drop the Discord link? It's not in your about me yet. Yeah, so oh yeah, I gotta update all the social media stuff, man. Let me see. Well, right now this is at least the tournament Discord at least. So that's what I was originally talking about. How um I'm I'm kind of confused. Give me 1 second. Yeah, that's gonna be a big tournament, man. I'm super excited. We're gonna And like I said, I have every intention of interviewing every single team. I think that would be pretty cool. All right, hold on. No, 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 no. What is this? Stop, 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 stop. How do I mute TikTok? No, no. I just want to see. Okay, here we go. Do we go right here? No, we don't go. I don't know how to check it. Okay, anyways. All right, guys. So this is my laundry attire. So we're gonna get going for now. If you all have any questions, go on my Discord. I might be on my Discord tonight off stream. So like I said, I do like to chill out with people privately. I don't like to just always do everything on stream. So my private Discord or whatever the hell it's called, I'll probably be on there in a little bit as I continue doing. You know what we're gonna do? I have an idea. We're gonna go, I promise you. I think on my Sundays, when I'm super busy doing all the cleaning and everything, I think I might just go on Discord and be like, "Yo, talk to me. I got laundry to fold. I got toilet to clean. I got a tub to scrub. I got toenails to do." All right. Y'all have a good night. Thank you for spending some time with me. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Okay?